The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of the Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network.
Hello everyone, welcome to Connecting with Kim here on Tampa Bay Arts and Education Network. I'm your host, Kim Droege, and we're so glad you joined us today because we have another great show that helps you live your best life in our corner of paradise, which is the whole goal every week. So before we get started and before I introduce my guests, I would like you to like and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and X account, where you will find out everything about the show, my guests, the broadcast schedule, and my on-air wardrobe, which is provided courtesy of the Spring of Tampa Bay Boutique. And they are providing safe spaces and empowering services for survivors of domestic violence and their children, and they've been doing a great job for many, many, many years. So please make me happy and shop at the boutique and the thrift store, which is now located at 4415 West Osborne here in Tampa. They've consolidated, they've moved to a new location, and everything is wonderful. So support them because the net proceeds support their mission. And I also want to let you know that you can find the audio of our show on Sun Radio 96.3 FM and on stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30. And we're so happy that we still have our spot on the radio too. So I'm so excited to introduce my guest today. I've been wanting to have her on my show for quite a while, and it just again, when you manifest out into the universe what you want, sometimes the universe says, I'm going to help you with that. So my guest today in the chair is Cami Gibertini, who is, amongst other things, the board chair of the Girl Scouts of West Central Florida. Welcome to Connecting with Kim, Cami.
Hey Kim, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to see you today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, it's really our pleasure, and it's my pleasure because I know you're going to just be a phenomenal guest, and you have such an incredible organization to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
So I like my guests to share as much of their life journey as they feel comfortable with, because you just never know when somebody out there listening and watching shares something in common with you. So just tell me about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you again for having me. It's such an honor to be here. Golly, where do I start? I will just say I grew up as a kid in the military. My dad was a colonel in the Marine Corps, so we moved around a lot. I think that was really helpful because every 3 years it was pretty much you either make friends or you don't have friends. So it really, really helped me in my life as a grown-up to go out there and network and build relationships and get to know other people. And so I think it's been a real asset in my life. We landed here in Tampa back in 1986, which was great. And so, because he retired through MacDill Air Force Base, and then had an opportunity to, start school. I met my husband at USF. We've been married almost 33 years this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a real accomplishment.
Yeah, and we still super love each other and like to hang out and like to go on stuff together or do stuff together. And so it's just great. We grew up together. We have 2 great kids. They both live locally. We're thrilled. Very blessed. And he's been my huge champion along the way. Anything that I've ever wanted to do in my career in the community and take on these big leadership roles, he has really stood side by side with me and supported me along the way. So he's been a real blessing to me. He's a great man, good father. So I'm just happy to have him as a partner in life. My mom is local still here. My brothers are local. So, Tampa's our home.
Yeah, you're practically a native.
I pretty much say that I am.
You're a practically Florida native.
I pretty much say that I am.
Yeah.
By my work life, I'm a commercial banker at Hancock Whitney Bank. Banking has been my only profession my entire career.
Really?
So I've been doing it for 35 years, which is incredible.
What was your degree in school?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Kim. So yes, went to school, never finished.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'm one of those 51% of Americans that don't have college degrees, but that's okay. We're still running the world in one way or another.
You are.
I have an untraditional education path, whereas I've attended 3 graduate level banking schools, and they're pretty prestigious. The final one that I finished was at University of Pennsylvania with the American Bankers Association Stonier Graduate School of Banking. Basically, your CEOs and presidents of banks all across United States and into Europe send their best and brightest to school for 3 weeks. We live like college students. We go to school. We do at-work home assignments for 3 years. I had an opportunity to go to Wharton Business School, and assuming you pass or fail all the assignments that you were given, you have an opportunity to come back and finish and graduate. So I graduated in 2018. So had I had that, I could have qualified with the programs that I've attended in my 30 years of banking. I would have had 2 masters at this point. So that's what I like to say. So I always say, I absolutely believe education is the pathway to be empowered.
But it's not the only one.
It's not the only way. So I like to, and there will be an opportunity someday somewhere where I'll be brave enough maybe to go out there and start talking in circles to let kids know. We put a lot of pressure on our kids, with education expectations, and sometimes it's just not their path. And I just want to tell people that, at the end of the day, it's okay. You can still be successful. And there's no glass ceiling for me. I was able to go and achieve, pretty great, a pretty great career, even without that. So anyway, so that's been part of my story. But yes, it's really given me, because community banking, I grew up in community banking, and then now I'm in a large regional bank, they've always sort of encouraged community involvement. So I think that's really where I fell in love with doing stuff in the community. But honestly, growing up, I was the kid at the Y. So I was a latchkey kid at the Y. My mom was a single mom for until she married my dad when I was 12, and then our life sort of changed.
Right.
But through that period of time, the things that were mine that I coveted was the Girl Scouts and then the YMCA. So they're a big part of my story of who I am, and those are the organizations that to this day I still support very actively.
I love that because Cami, you're describing your background, your life journey. I can see why you and I have a lot of friends in common.
Yes.
We know a lot of the same people, and you are just so admired and respected and.
Wow.
I don't know. Everyone speaks very highly of you and
you.
very complimentary of you. And so the first time I met you, I felt like we were already like sisters, like friends, because you're just so. And I can see how your background has helped contribute to that. And also, I love your devotion to those 2 organizations because the Y is an organization I've been devoted to in my life too. So
yeah, I think they're so important. I think it's because I learned compassion at a very young age because I was a receiver of it, and I think it really made a big impression on me. And I wanted to be a grown-up to care, and I did that for my children as well as a parent of 2 kids. And growing up, I remember my daughter graduated with like 334 to be exact community service hours. She only needed 100, right, for Bright Futures, but she had 3 times that because we did so much. And I wanted them to see that we were very fortunate to have the life that we had, and my husband and I have worked very hard, but I didn't want them to take that for granted or feel like there wasn't a responsibility that they have to pay it forward and to reach back and do it for somebody else, because people all throughout my life have done that for me, and I've been so grateful. And so it's just a way for me to say thank you. So I really believe in supporting girls. I do a lot of mentoring for young women, especially in the financial literacy area. That's sort of my passion. It's my jam to help younger women understand budgeting.
and it's something important for them.
Oh, it cannot be anything more important.
It can't be anything more important.
If you do not know how to manage your money, you can't make the best decisions for yourself. And so that's a passion of mine. But I absolutely love the Girl Scouts and what they stand for. I mean, I always say, our mission is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. And it did that for me. And so it gave me a true sense of belonging to a sisterhood at a very young age when I didn't know who I was and I didn't know the challenges that lie ahead, because life is hard. And so being able to have a place that, women took an active role in shaping who I would become at that time was huge. I started my journey in Brownies and Girl Scouts in an after-school care program, and I was what we now call today a community troop, which means that corporations sponsor community troops to be able to exist, which means we supply all the funds that they need to be able to support their girls. And I was one of those girls. So that gave me ability to show up to camp and look like the other girls at Girl Scouts, regardless of my mom's ability to be able to provide. And she was an amazing mom. But, you know, being a single parent in the 80s was tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough for anybody.
Yes, it's tough for anybody.
At any time.
Yes. So, you know, them being able to help her, but it gave me an opportunity to be able to show up and look like my friends, which is so important to girls at that age, right? I loved it. It was such a huge part. And so I love giving back because I know it made a difference. And so that's what it is. I mean, when I talk about the Girl Scouts and people know us because of our cookie program, which is amazing. We love our cookies.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the cookie program. I mean, it's wonderful. We've all been exposed to it in our entire lives. We all buy Girl Scout cookies. But it's important to know that it isn't the only part of Girl Scouting.
It's only one of our pillars, and people know us. We're most recognized for that as our brand. But I would say, you know, the things that are so important to us, you know, again, it's the life skills, it's the entrepreneurship, and it's the camp. Camp, life skills, entrepreneurship. But we have 4 pillars that we really believe in. STEM, there it is.
There you go.
So all of our STEM, we have a huge STEM program for our girls. You know, we want them to be involved with science, technology, you know, economics and math. Those are, and engineering are so important for our girls. And
well, and especially because a lot of times in the education system, traditionally, they haven't been encouraged to like those subjects, right? Or pursue those subjects or be proficient in those subjects, right? So it is important to reinforce. You know, it's like kids will, like your own children you were talking about, kids may not listen to everything you say, but they'll watch everything you do.
Absolutely, that is so true. We just open doors and we just encourage our girls to go after and, you know, to be who they want to be, to go out there and figure out what they like and what they don't like. I always say try it first. You know, you can't say you don't like it if you don't try it. That was sort of a rule in my house, whether it came to an activity, a food, you know, and an opportunity. It's like, just try it. And if you don't like it, great, but you can say you can try it. But if you don't know, you don't know. So I love what we stand for our girls. And we just have, you know, amazing Girl Scouts that do amazing things. Our Gold Award program, you know, we really think that that's something that we can really highlight out into the community. We have an awards program for them. And every year, because we want to showcase, it's a lot of work that these girls put into this. It's equivalent to the Eagle Scout Award that the Boy Scouts get to
Of course,
achieve.
it's the same thing. I mean, it's not different.
It's not different. So, you know, we've got some, they really touch my heart when I go to these programs to see all the hard work, the commitment, the dedication, you know, the ideas, the innovation that they're thinking about. And these are sustainable programs that beyond them have to carry on. And so they really you know, are really thinking more broadly, and they're so creative. And so it's just lovely to see them do this.
Well, now when we say the Girl Scouts of West Central Florida, you know, let's break that down because West Central Florida is a bigger. How many counties are we talking about?
So we're in 8 counties.
Okay. 8.
So we're in 8 counties. We serve just under 20,000 girls. And that includes all of our volunteers that are registered Girl Scouts here. We're one of the largest councils in the United States through Girl Scouts of USA. So that's our, you know,
the umbrella.
Yes. And we have about 111 councils across the country. Pretty large, but yeah, we're a pretty large council in comparison.
Yeah, 8 counties, and that's like, you know, all of Tampa Bay and a little bit south and a little bit north and a little bit
we go
east,
as far
right?
up as Marion County, up in Ocala.
Oh, wow.
We have an amazing group of Girl Scouts up in Marion County. We're so proud of them.
Oh my gosh.
We're proud of all of our Girl Scout councils, I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
But I wouldn't have thought it would extend that far.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So this might be a good time to reintroduce my guest in the chair today on Connecting with Kim is Cami Gibertini, who is the board chair of the Girl Scouts of West Central Florida. And we have just been discussing what that means geographically of West Central Florida. Okay, so help me understand. Now, where's the camp? I want to understand where
we have 4 camps that are in our councils. We have Camp Indian Echo, which is just north of Tampa. And then we have Camp Wildwood up in Palm Harbor. Then we have Camp Dorothy Thomas out in the Lithia area. And then we have Wailani. So, yes, so we have 4 camps, again, in Palm Harbor.
Yeah.
Yes, up in that area.
So how many days or weeks do the girls spend at the camp in the summer?
Okay, wow.
Well, I'm assuming it's the summertime, right?
Yeah, you know what? We have, our camps are open all year long.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
Yes, our camps, they're having activities all the time.
Good to know.
So yeah, no, our camps are very busy. They're an amazing, if you haven't ever taken an opportunity to go there, just go. It's just amazing. They're open doors. You can reach out to us at the Leadership Center. We can definitely connect you with someone up there that can help coordinate. Our Girl Scouts go to the camp all year round, but during the summer, we do have actual summer camp, and that's a big deal. And that's where these girls, our Girl Scouts, and we have an amazing counselor and training program. We have camp counselors. A lot of our Girl Scouts, go into that for leadership opportunities while they, decide on where they're going to go to college or what they're going to do after they graduate high school. It's just a great breeding ground for leadership skills and additional training in maybe areas in which they want to pursue. But yeah, we have girls that come in from the community that get to stay on site at camp. Camp Wailani is a big one for us, and Camp Wildwood. Camp Wildwood has, and I think that's in Dade City, and that has our horse camp. So we've got like several horses up there that they can actually go and ride horses and do an equestrian camp. They stay on site. It's a huge camp. It's beautiful. They have such an amazing time, and our summer camps sell out. Like, they're packed.
Oh,
Yes.
Do you also have sponsorship for the camps?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I mean, that's something that we definitely look for. We're always
Because
looking.
I'm sorry, but not every little girl can afford to go to camp, right?
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look to our corporate sponsors, and we need them to be
Yeah.
able to operate our camps. Our camps are very costly.
Yeah.
To be able to staff and run and maintenance and keep safe for our girls. And so yes, we look
Especially
to
if they're open year round. I mean,
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes, and we with the past hurricanes that we've had, we definitely lost a lot of our trees.
Everybody.
Yeah,
they're
it was
all impacted, right?
Yes, all impacted. We have several of our families that we're still supporting to this day. That I think we have 10 families that are still not in their home again.
Oh.
So it's just devastating. And we just we lift these families up, and we still support them because we love our Girl Scouts.
I love that.
Yeah, we do, and we do it through our corporate sponsor. So it's so important that we have companies that want to support Girl Scouts and what it does for girls. And if you have a daughter or a sister or a friend and a niece, anyone, I feel like there's people that can touch a Girl Scout in any way at any point in their life. Just finding an organization like the Girl Scouts of West Central Florida is a great place to put some dollars in because it will go to good use.
Well, are the girls, when they're at camp, are they still working on badges? Are they still?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
It's all about the
I'm
badges.
trying to understand the whole achieving the
Yes.
badges.
Yeah, they go and they have these programs to be able to achieve different types of, they do different types of activities to be able to earn, being able to be considered an expert in that, or having the information and had done the homework to be able to get these badges. So yeah, they're huge. I mean, you go to our leadership center in Tampa off Eisenhower, there's a whole Girl Scout store, and it's got all of our Girl Scout swag, which is amazing. But it's got,
wow.
There's like a wall of badges of everything you can think about. It's incredible. It's so fun. And in fact, I should have brought my, I got to create my own badge as the board chair, which was one of my funnest things I got to do, amongst so many others, but it was because it was personal to me.
Yeah.
So I got to design my own badge, and I give them out to our Girl Scouts because, it's all about, filling up all of the places on their vest, and just they do it very proudly, and I love to be able to add to that.
So they start as a brownie, and then
they start as a daisy.
Oh, a daisy. Sorry.
Started as a daisy.
See, I learned.
5 years old.
Daisy, then they become a brownie, then they become a Girl Scout. Okay, so help me understand, because you referenced it earlier, what is the highest level of Girl Scoutness that you can achieve?
Your last one is I don't know if it's ambassador, and I apologize, that structure. It can be a little bit, because it's a Girl Scout, but it's based on your age.
Okay, got it.
Yes, so it's based on, sort of the program within your age within that. But I think the culmination of that is, earning either your bronze, silver, or gold award.
Okay,
that is sort of this prestige. That's going one step above, because that does require a different level of skills and experience and commitment to earn that. I feel like that is sort of the epitome of what a Girl Scout is when they have that opportunity. Fortunately, I did not get a chance to do that, when I was doing the Girl Scouts. But we have Girl Scouts now that have earned all three awards.
I think as the board chair, you've achieved.
Thank you.
You've achieved a lot. So I wouldn't, no regrets about that.
No regrets.
Now,
No.
the reason I'm asking this question because I noticed that when I attended your, and we're going to talk about that, the Women of Distinction fundraiser, I noticed that there were girls, a lot of girls there, which is great, and some of them were in different colored uniforms. So this is what I was thinking. Now, does the uniform change as you go up the chain and you accomplish more? Because I saw people there they weren't just in traditional green. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and yes. As their board chair, I'm a governance chair.
Okay.
So when we talk about Girl Scouts, we have the operational stuff, and that's the stuff with when you talk about some of the stuff that I'm not as familiar with in that regard, as far as like the levels of Girl Scout based on their ages. I'm not as proficient in learning that.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
Kim.
that's
you
okay.
know that, right?
Those are all
I don't do that to my guests.
No, just so you know that's like, we kind of divide ourselves, whether we're operations and just sort of the, all the inner workings of, Girl Scouts and how it runs and works as a business, and then the governance model of, hey, being able to, manage it at the governance level to be able to make connections, bring in funding from corporations and, the community members and advocating and promoting the brand. Please forgive me, I don't know all the inner workings of that.
Nothing to forgive. Like I said,
Yes.
I don't put my
But there
guests on the
was-
spot.
Yeah, there was different levels of that.
Okay.
And so, but we love to have our girls there because we want them to be, they are always the center of everything that we do and say. And so we want them to see the men and women that showed up at those events that support the Girl Scouts.
Well,
We
that
think
room was packed.
It was so packed.
Well, let's talk about the Women of Distinction, because I know you have fundraisers, and I know that's the major one, right?
Yes, in fact, it's our signature one.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about it for a few minutes.
Yes, so we do an annual Women of Distinction event. We're one of the longest running programs that honor women in Tampa Bay. And these are women that we basically say are role models to our Girl Scouts, whether they have a Girl Scout affiliation themselves or not. So they don't need to be limited by that, because we want our girls to see all different types of women out there being successful and champions for girls. And so we take an opportunity to recognize them, and we generally have 5 women of distinction and then 1 woman of promise, and then we'll recognize a past women of distinction, and she sort of gets that culmination of being able to be added to that legacy award, if you will. So we recognize that level as well. It's an amazing event that we get to have. We've sort of been reimagining it year over year, getting better and better, but we do feel like it's become that event in Tampa Bay that we do feel like people say, hey, we want to be in the room. We've been selling out the last few years. So we're happy.
I could totally. So let me understand. So you get applications,
Yes.
and I'm sure you get tons.
Tons.
And so what's the vetting process or decision process that comes about before, so you select these 5 women?
Mary Pat King, who was our CEO, she has an amazing job.
She is.
Love her dearly.
She's an amazing person.
She really is. They pick 2 like honorary chairs that have a tie to Women of Distinction, and so they basically put a committee together. It's not your board of directors, who have an amazing board. I need to make sure I give them a shout out. And they convene these amazing group of women that have been involved with the Girl Scouts, and so they vet all the nominations that we get every year, and so we get amazing nominations, and so they basically go through, and I hear every year, it's always a hard choice because there's so many great women to be recognized and honored. And so, so that's a whole independent. It's on the super down low. We just want to honor everybody that gets in front of us, that we have this opportunity. So, we get nominations. We have nominations are open right now. In fact, we take them from the end of the current Women of Distinction. We open applications the very next day, and then we start taking them until the fall. And then from that point, again, that goes to this committee. They basically discern who are going to be recognized, and then we share that information out with the community about 2 months before the event.
Well, I gotta say, I've been coming to Florida since I was 4 years old, and my parents retired in Tampa Bay in 1989. So I've been here almost as long as you.
Yeah.
And my late husband and I became homeowners in 2005. So this is probably the longest place. We moved around a lot, so this is probably the longest place I've ever lived in my life. But I attend a lot of events with a lot of different organizations. I gotta say, Tampa Bay seems to me to be really blessed with a lot of incredible women.
Yeah, we have some.
Really.
And the thing, it's not that we have amazing women, because we do, but women believe that women should support other women.
Absolutely.
Like, I believe these women come out of their way. They go above and beyond the call of duty to be able to welcome. They invite you. They're genuinely, inclusive to wanting to invite women in, no matter, again, who you are, where you come from. They're like, let's do it, let's get together. I love that. There is a camaraderie. And I hear that from so many women that move into the area that say, wow, we're not doing this. And
wherever they came from.
They're like, what is different here? And I'm like, women care here. Like, we need each other. Like, we are going to lift each other up. We're going to cheer for each other. We're going to, I don't like when women, I always say, like, I want to compliment you. I don't want to compete against you.
Right.
I'll compete against who I was yesterday. I want to be a better person today. But I don't need to compete against another woman, because that's not productive. And because we never give ourselves enough credit, right? We always want to, we'll never give ourselves the full credit, but we'll always tell you how amazing you are. And so, I think it's something that, women take seriously here. And I have so many wonderful women that I look at as mentors, that I admire their integrity, their passion, their ability to be able to, just have other women feel seen and heard, and they're helpers. Like they're gonna, like, I always try and connect women. Like, hey, can I connect? You guys should know each other because it would benefit.
Yeah.
So like I'm constantly thinking about, well, who do you need to know in your business that I can help, or in your community or your nonprofit or whatever, and like, because we need you, like, right? We need each other to help each other.
Your shining light doesn't dim somebody else's, right?
No.
So that's something very important. I think women need to are. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious. That are ambitious, accomplished, want to make a difference in the world. Your shining light doesn't dim somebody else's. So the more shining lights we have, the better off we are.
And so I just think we kind of constantly need to talk about that and remind women that we've grown away from the scarcity mindset, right? There's a lot of studies and statistics that talk to that. And so we got to tell young women now that, they can stand on our shoulders. So we need to, lead by example, right? We need to be able to do that so that they don't have those types of things when they're going. There's plenty of opportunity for us at the table. And so, if you get at the table, use your voice for good, be a good person, help another woman out. I know, especially in my world, I want to see more women in leadership positions, right? Like that's a big thing. I want to see that. So we have to, foster that. We have to spirit that. We have to make sure that we hold space for that, so people understand that. Listen, we don't have to compete. We can complement. And I always say, like, listen, if you're my friend and you win an award, I'm going to get to come. You're going to invite me to your party. So like it's nothing to do with me, and it doesn't take anything away from me. And so, but you have to learn that, right? And sometimes you have to go through the hard parts of
you kind of have to learn that.
Yeah, and some women just, again, I think there are some women that maybe they don't even understand. So a lot of times too, like I always tell younger women when I mentor them, like if you're running into a wall and you feel like something's not there, it's okay to ask, and it's okay to do it in a way that says, hey, listen, like I am not here to compete. I just, I want to pick your brain, or find a way in. I say, because some women can put the walls up. Just let them know, and I think it's okay. Like find a way in so that you can connect and, be genuine, and So
well, thank you for being my guest today on Connecting with Kim. It was really wonderful. And folks, the nominations for Women of Distinction are open right now, and they will be for quite a long time. So where do they need to go?
Yes, go to the website, GSWCF /Women of Distinction /nominations. But even if you just go to Girl Scouts of West Central Florida.
Girl Scouts of West Central Florida, you'll find your way.
Yes.
So that's all we have time for today on Connecting with Kim. My guest in the chair was Cami Gibertini, who is the board chair of the Girl Scouts of West Central Florida. Come back next week for another edition of Connecting with Kim. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.